Welcome back to RGR. It's a brand new year, and I want to start off this year by saying Happy New Year to you. I hope you have a great 2020. It's been a banner year around here. First full year doing YouTube and hit over 1 million views. It's been a great run, and I thank each and every one of you that has been listening. We also had a banner year over on the Locked On Chiefs podcast, so check that out as well. And if you are new here, hit the sub and the notification bell so you find out what's going on next. Today we have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to split this week up in terms of the film room, and I'm going to focus on the backside of the defense right now. I've been getting a lot of questions about how you fill in for Juan Thornhill. I'm going to give you a couple of looks, particularly at his injury and at what Tyrann Mathieu does, and how they can sustain this through the playoffs. There's a lot going on there, but it's really worth it, and I think that this is a team that is still on the way up despite what is a pretty good setback for them, losing Juan Thornhill for the year to an ACL tear. He will be back next season, and we'll talk about him in the offseason, but I want to get to this part of it. Now, tomorrow or Friday, I'll have more for you on the front, including Terrell Suggs, which has been a request from a lot of you subscribers, and I want to make sure I get some film done for you guys on that. So check that out here in the next day or two, but for now, let's look at the secondary, and happy 2020 to you. I'm going to start today with the two plays in the secondary that really highlight what the safety tandem is capable of. You're not going to see this going forward, unfortunately, because of the injury to Juan Thornhill. And we're going to start here with the play where he did get injured. This touchdown was scored on Fuller at the deep spot rather than in the shallow, down at the bottom of the screen. But the key is that this is where Thornhill's coming from. And it's unfortunate because not only has he been playing great and really making a nice progression as a rookie, but he's allowing Steve Spagnuolo to do things like they did on this particular play that really illustrate just how complex things are getting, and it's keeping offenses on their toes. It's very key going forward, and they're going to have to get play out of some other guys in order to accomplish it. Now, Thornhill's lined up here in what is a pre-snap cover 2 shell. They're in nickel. They're in dime over here with Sorensen here up at the line of scrimmage. 5 DBs arrayed. This is Mathieu down inside on the slot. And as they roll forward, this is a play that gives you an idea just how complex they're getting. They're widening. Now, Matthew's going to drop, and he's actually going to take that zone that Thornhill was initially looking like he was going to be responsible for. That's deep half. In case of emergency, Thornhill could have probably released if there was somebody, if there was a back out here, he probably could have wardened off and come down into the flat if he had to. I don't know if that call was on or not, but that is a possibility. When you're coming from a deep safety blitz, sometimes there are modifications that will happen depending on the play. But this is going to be basically a replacement with Mathieu taking the deep and keeping an eye on his receiver in particular, but with Thornhill coming up and blitzing. And as he gets to the line of scrimmage, he's on. And what's happened here is that you have engagement across the front. Now, Sorensen's going to bail back out. And this is going to be Thornhill's road to Phillip Rivers is a little bit congested because of what we're going to see in the opposite. This is Hitchens taking on the guard, but it's a clear path. And this guard is put in a bad spot because now he's got 2 defenders that might be coming that he has to take on. And as we roll forward, he does decide to engage Hitchens. He is the closer defender, and that makes sense by all rules. But it causes Thornhill to go a little bit wide. You see here he's at a pretty precarious edge, kind of cornering around this guard to get inside, and that's where the magic doesn't happen. The touchdown is actually completed to Keenan Allen, and it's just a play that you wish you hadn't had to see, but this is Fuller in the opposite view that gets scored on rather than anyone else, and it's really because of the way that this play is designed. If Thornhill had been able to get there, I think that maybe makes up for it, but this was a pretty good route from Allen. We were going to give him credit for that. I'm going to slow this side down quite a bit so that we can see just how complex this is, and this is Thornhill back here on the edge of your screen. This is Hitch faking here, and you have the one A-gap, the strong A-gap open. You have Suggs out here on the side, and he's going to get some attention here from Hunter Henry, which is one aspect that gives the window for Juan Thornhill to come into, but it also narrows the aspect. Now, here's the nice thing is Thornhill's already moving. The ball has not been snapped. Philip Rivers has an eye over here where he's going. He's probably waiting to see if Sorensen is coming, but he knows he's got Allen on the outside. As they roll forward, Thornhill's already on his way. Hutch kind of fakes, gives that delayed rush, and right here is where that pops. As Thornhill comes in, he has to widen just a little bit, and you're going to see him plant his foot here, right here, and that's where it goes. Just can't put any weight out. He's got to dive down. The throw's good. Allen does beat Fuller there to the outside, and you can see that that's the way that Philip Rivers had been looking to begin with. But again, this was a well-designed play. You would like the result to be better, and you would have liked to not have Thornhill hurt, but it gives you an idea that pre-snap, what they can do with this kind of arrangement. This is a little bit of a troublesome play because it does leave Fuller alone on an outbreaking route where he is fairly deep at the snap, and that's a little bit significant. I'm sure they'll change that a little bit, and even though they're running a stunt on the far side, he may cheat over a little bit. If this had happened, Charvarius Ward is going down inside with Eckler, and that's a unique situation as well. That would have been covered, and that gives them an option to stop this play. It all comes back down to the safety. And on the second play, I want to show you this one because this is a big play by Tyrann Mathieu, and it shows you that it's not just Mathieu functioning in a vacuum. He is communicating. It's an interesting alignment. You've got linebacker Neiman here in the middle, and they're in dime, where you have Sorensen out here on the tight end, DB, all the way back around to Mathieu here, and they're in a triangle set. This is Ward here, who's got the interior wide receiver. This looks like it's really complex, but it's really a spread formation in terms of personnel, along with Gordon here and only 5 linemen. So you've got Suggs lined up here too, which is going to take the attention of the tackle. It's really a question of how are they going to deal with these 3. And it does change once motion happens. Watch what happens between Ward moving and then Mathieu out to, I believe this is Fenton. Linebacker backs off as they go to modify something. Rivers is actually giving him attention. He's setting the protection so that it's based on where everyone's aligned pre-snap. And now as they get back, Gordon's got his assignment on the outside, likely chipping Frank Clark. It brings up right here motion. And right now, Rivers knows that he's got man with Charvarius Ward on this inside receiver. That, in turn, gives these 2 guys the need to communicate. Now, watch what Tyrann Mathieu does here. He's not just concerned about the guy across from him. They're not taking straight man. He's going to communicate to Fenton how they're going to deal with it as he turns right here. You're going to take him on the outside. Now, the route itself could have been problematic, but because Mathieu gets up in his face and is tight, Fenton stays off. And so when they try to rub this, it actually works out in their favor in that you've got safety Watts coming over the middle because, again, there were 3 receivers to that side, so he's got attention. Now, if he breaks in, Watts has him. If he breaks out, Fenton has him. Mathieu is still running step for step, and that's the way that he wanted it. This gives them the full coverage of these 2. There's a common route combination that the Chargers use, and just simply a great play by Mathieu to understand that likely Rivers wants to go for the score. He's going to undercut it and make that leap to make the play. That is something that is instinct, that's experience, and that's what he brings. Again, when you watch this, you see Ward come down, and then you'll see Rivers trying to look it off at first, and then he'll come back to him, and he knows where he's going, trying to lay that in there. And right here, you have 2 guys, actually, that Fenton has peeled off, and he's going to play the under as well. But because of the ball placement, this is where Mathieu is just going to outleap and get his body in front. Now, that's a great play from a very experienced player and something that the Chiefs need to depend on going forward, especially because they're not going to have Juan Thornhill. So what you see from these players as they go is something that adds up. And yes, Armani Watts is going to have to stand in for him. You see Watts lined here is the deep safety. I expect to see more of this as they get into the next round of the playoffs. And that's going to be okay. It's not going to be as good because of the experience load, but with communication like this, particularly from Mathieu, who is the leader here, this is going to be a situation where they can still run these stunts and still be in position to make big plays like this. Now, if you like this one or any of the other videos that I've done, please leave your thumbs up. If you're not subbed, consider subbing. Hit that notification bell as well so that you get information when they come out. I'm going to have another piece come out here on Suggs and the front of the defense, so look for that real soon. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you next time.